A radical overhaul of how the bloc deals with the growing number of migrants seeking asylum in Europe. From the headlines of news to the headlines in sport, it's Isaac Fennin.
So, Vic, it is a pretty good time to be a Serbian sports fan. You could argue that they have the best tennis player in the world, maybe of all time, in Novak Djokovic. And you could also argue that they have the best basketball player on the planet in Nikola Jokic. The Denver Nuggets star has put on a stunning 6-week run of basketball in the NBA playoffs, leading his side to the brink of a first NBA title. They're playing Game 4 of the NBA Finals on Friday. They're 2-1 up in that series against the Miami Heat. Another win would give them the opportunity to win the title back home in Denver for Game 5. Miroslav Ćuk is a Serbian journalist and he has a podcast about the Denver Nuggets. Miroslav, morning to you. If I asked you about 10 years ago, would you would have a podcast about the Denver Nuggets because there'd be this transcendent Serbian star leading the team to a title, what would you have said?
Good morning to you. Well, it's a really crazy journey that's been lasting for last 8 years now in the NBA. Nikola Jokic was a fairly not very well-known player when he came to the NBA. Nobody expected super great things of him, but every year he was getting better and better. And at some point, I thought, oh man, we have something special brewing here. And lo and behold, now we have it's probably an undisputed best player in the world right now in him. And yes, as you said, he's only 2 wins now away from the championship.
What makes him so good, Miroslav?
I usually speak about the Yugoslavian basketball school that has a very long tradition. That's almost 7 decades of basketball tradition in former Yugoslavia. And Nikola Jokic is actually the perfect example of Yugoslavian basketball school. It's all that our coaches taught our kids how to play, and he just perfected it in every facet. And we are actually seeing what a perfect version of Krešimir Ćosić or Vlade Divac, or if you expand it further to the whole of Europe, Arvydas Sabonis would look like. So Nikola is just the perfect version of all of that, and this is the reason why he can dominate while not being the most athletic guy out there.
Yeah, because if you look at him, he's 7 foot tall. He's a very wide man. A lot of people, who look at him say he's a bit out of shape, but he doesn't just score the basketball. He, makes his teammates better. He assists, he rebounds, he uses his frame incredibly well. And that is the description of the way in which he plays, right?
Yes, he is a 7 foot point guard. That's actually the right way to talk about him, and that's the problem for his opponents, because he can do everything the top level point guard can do, but at the same time he is 7 foot and he is like 280 pounds of weight on him as well. So it's really a tough job for anybody to guard him. You would probably need another 7 foot point guard in order to stop him, really. So yeah, he is a very, very unique player. There was never a player like him before. Of course, I'm not saying that he is like the greatest player of all time, but you know what? If he continues playing like this for the next several years, we might be talking about, somebody that's in the pantheon of greatest basketball players of all time. And, us Serbian sports fans, we are very greedy. When Novak Djokovic was he was like a third best player for many years behind Federer and Nadal. And then we said, no, we don't want a third best guy. We want the best guy in the world. And then he became the best guy. And then we said, no, we want the best guy ever. And Djokovic actually became that. So this is the path we are having right now with with Nikola Jokić as well. So we are not confident. We are not, satisfied with him only be the best guy right now.
Well, we shall see whether he does become the best guy of all time. Miroslav, as ever, a pleasure talking to you. That's Miroslav Ćuk, who is a Serbian journalist. Novak Djokovic is in action a little bit later on in a match that I'm sure, Vic, you will be watching with plenty of attention. He takes on Carlos Alcaraz in the semi-final of the French Open, looking to potentially win that 23rd Grand Slam title, which would take him above all of the greatest tennis players of all time.
And that was I'm looking for. I'm willing to sacrifice my sleep for that match if I can handle it.
You and me both.